Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're navigating a really fascinating and yeah, often complex landscape, the homeowners association.
Hmm.
It's that place, that promises shared benefits, a real sense of community, but sometimes it feels like, well, a balancing act,
Yeah.
teetering between that harmony they promise and sometimes unexpected friction.
That's a good way to put it, a balancing act.
Yeah, and if you're a homeowner or maybe thinking about buying, especially here in the metro Atlanta area, Georgia, you've probably heard the stories. The good and the bad.
Oh, definitely. The grapevine is strong with HOAs.
Exactly. So our mission today is to really uncover the real key points about how these communities actually work, and more importantly, how they can shift from being, potential battlegrounds into really thriving cooperative neighborhoods. And just so you know, this deep dive into community living, it's powered by Airy Realty. They're dedicated partners in helping folks find that perfect place, one that really aligns with your vision of home and harmony right here in Atlanta and the surrounding areas.
And that really ties into the core idea, doesn't it? At its heart, an HOA is, well, it's meant to be a good thing, a catalyst for community well-being.
Right, that's the goal.
Its whole purpose is maintaining that consistent look, keeping property values up, and just making sure the shared stuff runs smoothly.
Like the pools and playgrounds.
Exactly. Playgrounds, pools, clubhouses, those nicely landscaped gardens, all of it.
Yeah.
The intention, at least, is always to create a cohesive, well-kept environment for everyone living there.
It sounds so ideal on paper, doesn't it? A real blueprint for the collective good. But despite those good intentions, HOAs can definitely become a source of pretty significant frustration
Oh,
sometimes,
absolutely.
where those little disagreements, maybe about parking or trash cans, can just spiral,
Yeah.
into full-blown feuds, really undermining the harmony they were meant to protect.
And that's where the research we looked at really shed some light. We found some very common, almost predictable friction points.
Predictable? Like,
Well, it's often not the huge dramatic blowups. Those happen. It's more like a slow erosion of trust, little things piling up, and maybe surprisingly, one of the biggest points of contention revolves around the very thing meant to create order, the rules themselves.
huh. So not just having rules, but how people experience those rules.
Precisely. Conflicts over the rules, yeah, that's a major headache. We're talking disagreements on lawn care, or maybe what color you can paint your door, exterior improvements, signs, even like kids playing basketball in the driveway.
Wow, specific stuff.
Very specific. And our data shows something like 36% of complaints focus directly on HOA actions and policies.
36%. That's a lot.
It is. And that number, it points to this deeper frustration about perceived power imbalances, residents feeling dictated to, not collaborated with.
Yeah, I get that.
So you hear concerns about restrictive rules, lack of transparency, the board may be overreaching, or even making biased decisions.
I can definitely see how that breeds resentment fast. And once that trust starts to crack, I imagine it makes other common issues even tougher to sort out.
Absolutely. Which leads right into what you might call neighborly niggles. You know, those seemingly small squabbles.
Mm-hmm.
Noise complaints, parking disputes, always a classic. Problems with pets, how trash is managed. These kinds of direct neighbor-to-neighbor conflicts, they account for roughly maybe 14% of all
It's
complaints.
still significant.
Yeah, they might seem minor one by one, but add them up and they can really chip away at that sense of peace and community.
And things can get personal quickly, I bet. Then you throw money into the mix. That probably adds a whole other layer of stress.
You're absolutely right. Financial management struggles are another big one. Also around 14% of grievances, interestingly.
Same as neighbor issues.
Roughly, yeah. We see issues like unpaid dues piling up, maybe concerns about how reserve funds are being used or not used, or just high fees that people feel aren't justified.
Right. Where's the money going?
Exactly. And when trust breaks down around money, that's a huge red flag. This links directly to what we call the communication chasm.
The communication chasm. Sounds ominous.
Well, it can be. Poor communication, whether it's about upcoming repairs, changes in rules, or, crucially, financial transparency, it just eats away at trust. If you're left in the dark about decisions affecting your home, your wallet, you're going to get frustrated. It's only natural.
So, okay, residents are feeling unheard, maybe frustrated. The board is trying to manage all this. It sounds like a recipe for burnout for those board members. What does that actually look like? How does it affect the community?
It's a huge challenge. Board member burnout is really common, especially since they're almost always unpaid volunteers.
Right, they have jobs, lives.
Exactly. Imagine juggling your job, your family, and then spending evenings arguing about, I don't know, fence heights or chasing down late payments. It can lead to disengagement, high turnover on the board, which makes consistent leadership really difficult.
And on the other side, what about the residents?
Well, often you see residents not participating either, not coming to meetings, not volunteering, maybe because they feel disconnected or they just figure, someone else will handle it.
Which puts more pressure on the few who are involved.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It creates the cycle where the dedicated few get completely overwhelmed, and then there's the problem of uneven enforcement.
The they find me but not them scenario.
Exactly that. When the HOA applies rules inconsistently, one person gets a notice, another does the same thing, and hears nothing. That sows discord incredibly fast, breeds feelings of favoritism. It's like a crack in the foundation of fairness.
Yeah, that would drive me nuts.
And finally, you get what we termed maintenance meltdowns, basically neglected common areas or repairs that just drag on forever. That obviously upsets residents, but it also critically can damage property values. Everyone starts feeling like they aren't getting what they're paying for.
That's a whole minefield of potential problems. And it's interesting, our sources suggest condos are where you see the most dissatisfaction. Nearly half of all complaints.
That's right. It makes sense, really. Shared walls, often stricter rules because things are closer together, usually higher fees for shared building maintenance. It can amplify all these issues.
And this isn't just abstract stuff. You mentioned Georgia specifically.
Yeah, digging into the data, Georgia accounts for about 4.26% of HOA complaints found in online forums, which tells us these are definitely real, local concerns, things people listening right now, maybe in the Atlanta area, might be dealing with in their own neighborhoods.
Okay, so we've really laid out the friction points, the challenges that can turn these communities sour, sometimes leading to ongoing feuds. But here's the shift, the empowering part of this deep dive. Most of these challenges, they can be fixed.
Absolutely. It's not hopeless.
We're moving from the problems to paving that path towards harmony. And often it just takes, well, the right approach and maybe a little diplomacy.
That's it, exactly. So let's get into the real key points for actually turning that conflict into cooperation. First, tackling those rule conflicts we talked about. It really boils down to crystal clear rules, number one. But number two, and this is crucial, a real resident voice. Meaning the rules need to be communicated well, obviously, but residents have to be involved in making decisions. Think town hall meetings, maybe digital surveys, ways for people to feel heard, like they're part of the conversation, not just being told what to do.
That makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Feeling like you have some say, moving from just compliance to actually collaborating.
It truly does. Builds buy-in, builds ownership. Okay, next. Financial fortification.
Getting the money matters right.
Yes. Regular independent audits. Truly transparent financial reporting. These are essential to combat those worries about unpaid dues or mismanagement. And look, if the board doesn't have deep financial expertise,
Which many volunteer boards might not.
right, then hiring a certified HOA accountant is a really smart move. They specialize in this stuff, nonprofit accounting, reserve funds, Georgia-specific rules. They can spot risks a general accountant might miss. Then, bridging that communication gap we mentioned,
The chasm. How do we bridge it?
practical stuff. Consistent email newsletters, regular updates on social media if your community uses it, maybe even a community app. But consistency isn't just sending emails.
It's what you send.
Exactly. Aim for, say, bi-weekly newsletters that aren't just boring announcements. Include FAQs, maybe that Ask the Board section, quick did you know, facts about how the HOA operates, build understanding, build engagement.
So proactive, helpful updates, not just communicating when there's a crisis. That definitely builds trust.
It really does. Now, for those neighbor-to-neighbor disputes...
The noisy dog, the parking spot.
Yeah. The first step should always be encouraging open dialogue between the neighbors themselves. Honestly, a simple conversation can solve a lot.
If people are willing to talk.
True. If that fails, then neutral third-party mediation is often a great next step. It can resolve problems without things escalating, saving everyone stress, time, and potentially legal costs.
Mediation. Okay. What about that board burnout and getting residents involved?
Yeah, tackling both sides of that. For the board, rotate responsibilities, actively recruit new volunteers, maybe set more achievable, realistic goals so people don't feel overwhelmed.
Spread the load.
Right. And for residents, to genuinely boost involvement, successful HOAs get creative. Maybe structured community events like themed parties or potlucks tied to meetings, or offering small, tangible recognitions like gift cards or raffle entries for attending meetings or volunteering hours.
Making it fun, or at least rewarding.
Exactly. And for really large communities, frankly, a professional management company can be invaluable. They take a lot off the board's shoulders, provide expertise, ensure continuity.
I like those creative ideas for engagement. It
Mhm.
sounds like a way to actually build community while getting participation up, not just making it feel like another chore.
It can be. Then fairness in enforcement. This is critical.
Yeah.
Document every single enforcement action. Apply the rules equally. No exceptions, no favoritism.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely. Training board members on fair enforcement practices can help prevent those feelings of bias. And lastly, proactive property care.
Don't wait for things to fall apart.
Precisely. Regular inspections, preventive maintenance of common areas. It prevents bigger, more costly issues later. And remember that point about well cared for common areas potentially increasing property values by up to 10%.
Wow, yeah, 10%. That's a serious incentive right there. It's a
Yeah.
real return on investment for everyone.
It absolutely is. Well-maintained common areas aren't just nice to look at, they're a tangible asset.
Okay, so these are great best practices, but what about the legal side here in Georgia? How does that framework actually support harmony and, empower homeowners?
That's really the foundation for everything, isn't it? HOAs in Georgia, they operate under specific state laws, things like the Georgia Condominium Act, the Georgia Nonprofit Corporation Act, and importantly, the Georgia Fair Housing Law. These laws set the basic legal boundary.
So they provide the structure.
They do. And then you have the HOA's own governing documents, the declaration, the bylaws, the rules and regulations. Think of these as the community's constitution, its specific laws and policies, and crucially, they must line up with Georgia state law to even be enforceable.
Okay, that's important. They can't just make up anything.
No, they can't. And for many subdivisions, there's also the option to formally opt in to the Georgia Property Owners Association Act, the POAA.
What does that do?
It provides some additional structure, more defined powers for the HOA, like automatic liens for unpaid dues, and some extra protections for homeowners, too. But it's optional. It requires a 2/3 vote of the members and recording a specific declaration. But what's really powerful for homeowners is that Georgia law clearly spells out member rights.
Like what?
You generally have the right to view HOA documents, attend board meetings, vote on important matters, and critically access financial records. This transparency isn't just a nice to have, it's a legal right. It can be a lever if you suspect something's wrong, often before things escalate to lawyers.
You have recourse.
You do. And when disputes do arise, Georgia's framework typically encourages trying to resolve things internally first. Then maybe mediation or arbitration. Legal action is usually seen as the last resort. Understanding these legal backstops, it really empowers every homeowner.
So whether you're already living in an HOA, maybe serving on the board, or even just thinking about buying into one, understanding these common friction points and the solutions we've talked about, that's really the key. It's how you foster a thriving community, right?
Yeah.
Turning those potential feuds into just a good place to live.
It really is. And this brings up, I think, an important question for you, for our listeners to think about. What role can you actually play in your own community? How can you help transform those potential feuds into lasting harmony? Now that you're armed with this knowledge of the common pitfalls and the proven solutions. And how can understanding that legal backbone, the Georgia HOA laws, empower you as a homeowner to advocate for positive change, to help build a truly thriving neighborhood?
That's a great question to leave folks with. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the dynamic world of homeowners associations. And remember, if you're looking to find a community that really clicks with your idea of harmony, or maybe you just have questions about navigating HOA dynamics here in the metro Atlanta, Georgia area, do reach out to Erie Realty. Their dedicated team, they can really help you find the right neighborhood and understand its specific community structure. You can call Erie Realty at 678-775-8108. Again, that's 678-775-8108. Join us next time for more crucial insights right here on The Deep Dive.